The one thing they did do, the city, they bribed restaurant owners by putting the Cafe TO, where they cut in part of the roadways. They then allowed for shops, for restaurants to put tables out, and they bribed those owners by giving them more real estate, if you will, during the pandemic. And then post-pandemic, they bribed them by keeping it going. I think last year, I don't know what the outcome was. They were going to start charging money for that space. I don't know if that actually came to pass. But the city has used every conceivable lever available to them to try to influence and manipulate these bike lanes staying. And I don't know. I don't understand how we can work in a city, how we can live in a city where we have a government that has done what it's done and will continue to do. And so that's why I say to you guys, got to get people engaged in municipal politics. We look at cities. You look at cities in like Detroit. Go to the West Coast and along, in the downtown cores of those cities have been decimated. And that's because businesses couldn't operate. And you don't have businesses and you don't have people downtown. Those businesses start to dry up. The downtown core starts to dry up, which is tax revenue. Then you got to turn around and start raising property taxes further to offset what we were making before with a more broad tax base. I myself live between Yonge Street and Avenue Road. I used to go over to Avenue Road all the time. I now do anything to avoid going over to Yonge Street. I will go up Avenue Road and around and come back down on a side street to get to a merchant like my Rosedale Animal Hospital where I have my dogs taken care of. I will go 3 times the distance to get to my vet than go up Yonge Street because I know it'll be less time. And the problem is that when people stop using those arterial roadways, then they stop thinking about them. And when you stop thinking about them, you no longer patronize them. And when you no longer patronize them, they no longer are in business. And then you've got boarded up businesses, and it's not good for the city. It's not good for neighborhoods. So there are very real socioeconomic consequences that we are going to continue to see happen on these arterial roads. You watch, it's happening right now. And it's just unfortunate. I don't think people ever conceivably thought this could happen, but it's happening and it's a bit of a nightmare.
Why do you think that people are afraid to speak up about their opinion on this?
So during the Yonge Street bike lane, we had signs, Keep Toronto Moving signs that we went and we took out and we went to the merchants that were against them. We went to one shop owner who had a pet shop near Rosedale subway station. And she said, absolutely, I'd be happy to put a sign up. I don't know anyone who wants them. And then on her Instagram page, all these people started commenting that they were no longer going to patronize her shop and she's against safety for cyclists. And they started to attack her business. And I went and talked to her. She said, this one guy said he and his dog Muffin or whatever were no longer going to patronize my shop. She said, I know my patrons. He's never been here before. So they got their professional PR team to go out and start attacking these businesses online. A restaurant owner in Summerhill, he put a sign in his window. They went on to his Yelp page and they started posting, terrible service, served me raw chicken. Food was undercooked. He didn't care. So I was talking to him. He said, I went to their profiles and they were all active cyclists. He said, I've never had anything top reviews. He said, and then this happened. We ran a rally at a Firkin in Summerhill. And this poor guy who we paid him, we were a patron. We rented his restaurant for the night, paid him good money, brought the whole neighborhood together, had 150 people there. And this guy, when they found out, they went on to his Yelp or whatever the social media review is for restaurants, and they started giving him ones. He went from having a 5 out of 5 rating, the Firkin, which he was very proud of. He had good service, good food, nice ambiance, and they were going after him. They were going for the juggler. They were out to take down his business. And that to me, folks, that's not, we can agree or disagree on where bike lanes should go, but you don't take it to that level. Okay. You want to throw an egg at my house? I'll get the hose out. I'll clean it up. Okay. But don't go attacking small business owners who are trying to make a living. Anybody out there who knows anything about the restaurant business, it's hard enough to make a living with the restaurant business. Don't be out there stooping to those levels. There was a lady in Summerhill who posted opposition to the bike lanes a year and a half ago, before I was involved. They actually took her phone number and they tracked down, I don't know how they did it, but there's ways you can find stuff. They found her phone number and her home address and her personal email address and her children's email addresses. And it's called doxing. And they basically started to put it up everywhere and telling people, if you don't support, this lady doesn't support us, send her a message. And they started to publicly put her name out there everywhere. So she started, like, she was worried for her personal safety. So, at the end of the day, people are afraid to be victimized by a very radical element to the cycling movement, which I don't think represents all cyclists. And so from the standpoint of why there isn't more organized opposition, well, first of all, there isn't the infrastructure of money out there. Keep Toronto Moving is a volunteer organization. We don't have a $500,000 a year budget with half a dozen full-time experienced employees like Cycle TO. We don't have the City of Toronto transportation budget. I mean, God, go to their website. They have people who are just in charge, experienced communications people who spent their careers communicating, just in charge of promoting bike lanes and promoting infrastructure build-out on the bike lanes. Like, it's a David and Goliath type of a comparison here. And so at the end of the day, what the cycling radicals want to position Keep Toronto as is an anti-bike organization. And nothing could be further from the truth. We have no issues with cycling. We have many members of our group that are cyclists.